Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have an interesting video here. This is 2000. Let me read the information. I got the SUS connected. So this is a 2013 BMW 1 Series. Customer concern is, well, the fault codes. Let me actually close this 1 second and go there since I was just ready for the test, but that's fine. So let me just, well, at least I know that I'm not going to see. This is one thing that Snapper should do. I need a back button in here. You press something by mistake, it should be good. All right, so I'm gonna have to exit the vehicle. This is a quick communication, and that's the um, automatic ID. Sorry guys for that, but it's okay. It's very quick. All right, codes. Hmm, what are the rest of the codes? Because let me just take you over to his file. Give me one second. All right, this is the test I did before, and this was on the 9th. As you can see, again, this is the same vehicle, and that's the engine 2013, and that's the last digit of the VIN number 60590. All right, so these are just again, this is a picture, but we can see that we got ignition cylinder for combustion period outside tolerance. Now that I'm getting is that electronic motor. Not sure if the battery is a little low, or if it has also problem. Oh, look like we have that in here and it's active. All right, we're gonna have to see the actual values on that. And this is some other things that I was checking for him. But so we are checking on this case that cylinder for combustion period outside tolerance based on his concern. Delay on acceleration, rough idle, has cut off while driving twice at 60 mile per hour. Let me just make sure I don't show his information. Fuel tank was around half a tank. First time was just below half. Added fuel and vehicle started, no engine light. Um, yeah, rough idle, acceleration, and we had that short combustion period. I want to see if we have been fired, so what we are experiencing in here. The reason I was also on the data is because I want to see what the fuel pressures are doing on the first start. So we got the fuel rail as 139 psi, which is a little higher than the low side. Not sure why is the still pressure there, but um, so I'm also going to record a screen. So we're going to start the recording now, as you saw there. And I have Picoscope ready connected. I am reading ignition in blue channel. OBS has scratch. Okay. And I'm going to go backwards a little bit. All right, so we got the Picoscope connected. I got this multiplexer. This is a 12 channel signal mixer from Picoscope as well. And what I can do with this, I can see up to 12 ignition secondaries with this probes that are just connected 1 through 6 on A channel and then 1 through 6 on B channel, and it has a trigger out, and then wire to go over to, in this case I got blue channel, which is just the reading of all the signals, and then the red channel would be the sync on number 1. Um, as you can see, the connections are pretty easy. Then it has also a ground cable connected to ground, and I'm going to see what each of those cylinders are doing. In this vehicle, he has aftermarket coils connected and also wiring going over to each of the cylinders. So it makes it very easy because this is definitely not the setup the BMW has. But if you want, again, to tune your vehicle and do things like that, then this is what you need to do. All right, so that's the setup on the car. I now have to go into each channel, and then I don't have to really be too worried about this, but just in case, I'm gonna get to probes, then secondary. We're gonna do the same thing in channel B, probes, and then secondary. All right, so that should do the settings in there. We can change, also that to -5 to 50. The scope is already running. One other thing that I want to change is the sample rate. I don't know why this laptop always gets a little slow when I'm, doing the OBS and the oscilloscope at the same time, but it is what it is. All right, so I'm going to change that so the samples are at least 2 million samples per second. That's what I have right now. And then we can try to run the vehicle. Again, all this is going to be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the camera here so we can see this. And I want to see the changes on pressure, see what we see. All right, so let me set you guys on the tripod. Give me just 1 second, guys. And the audio is this time good. I wasn't aware that my microphone wasn't synced with this um, phone. I got the new iPhone and then that changed it. So I'm going to keep, just in case, both the screens in there. I think you can guys see everything, and I'm just going to run the car. So hopefully everything is good. Let me see Pico scope. We're into already 64 screens, so let me stop this very fast. So I might want to increase the time to 100 milliseconds. We can always zoom in, especially with that much sample rate. And we can actually lower it now because of the 100 milliseconds, the sample rate went up a lot. We don't need that much sample rate. 2 million samples are more than enough. And now with 100 milliseconds, I can have less waveforms because now we got more time on the screen, right? So again, let me just stop and let me run the car. Let me do this with you guys. I know that no matter what this microphone does, you will hear that difference on this car. And make this waveforms a little bigger. So 5 to 20 should be good. And these are multi-strike at idle. So let me stop this. I want to save that. Let me move you guys 1 second because I want to save that first capture before I lose anything. And that is on my waveforms. I'm going to do this as quick as possible before it, warms up. Because the concern is on this vehicle is on cylinder number 4. This is nice because I can see also the pressures, low side, high side. So this is very nice. I'm really, really enjoying the new SUS. I cannot express enough how happy I am from this tool. It is a completely revamped diagnostics. I like the graphic with the different colors, so it's easier on the eye for you to capture the differences, right? So even with the camera, I know that you might be a little far away. Remember, I'm doing a screen recording in there. So do we have a trigger? No trigger, which is okay, but we can put one channel B probably is the best because it's only one. Come on, very slow when I'm doing this with the screen recording. And again, let me do auto channel B, and that should be do it. And we're gonna put it right here. Perfect. Okay, now we can do a zoom. Since we got a little more control on the screen, right? Come on. It's kind of frozen on me. If that happens, I'm gonna have to stop the recording. Sorry, guys. Should have used the other laptop. It's definitely better than this one. Every time I do the screen recording, it freezes up. You see, it's like it was completely frozen. Picoscope uses a lot of the buffer memory on the computer for what it does. So this is why the laptop is struggling to keep up. So I'm gonna have to come back out and then do a zoom again. Let's see if this works. Kind of slow. Come on. I haven't released it. See, right now I went to a single strike. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to stop this here. What I'm going to do is let me stop the recording. You guys are seeing what I'm doing. All right, so that's not a problem. This current all stream recording will be shut down. Stopping the recording, come on. It's even taking time to stop the recording. Oof, this car really stinks. Oof. Let me open the door here. I'm gonna take a time. And this is one thing that we really lack on this shop is exhaust fans. I'm talking about for emissions. Got a big fan right next to the door here now that I put sucking the air out, but it's definitely not the best. All right, so come on. Okay, finally stopped it. Hopefully this is going to make this now work a lot faster. So what I'm going to do is probably just work with the screen as it is. You can see now I can a little better do this. No, come on. Don't let me down. All right, so I'm going to get you a little closer. Maybe turn this screen this way. Can move the snap on that way. Perfect. Can you guys see me better? See better in there? Yes. Still, I'm going to, after I do this, I will get the capture and record it, and then I can use it on the video to put them on what we're explaining. But so firing order. Let me get the firing order for the car. So 153624. So this is number 4. I don't really see much of a difference from one side to the other. We can now stop this. Whew, very, very stinky. Let me save this again. Kind of like warm, right? So I'm just going to save this one as a warm engine. Oof. But yeah, this is very nice that you can see all the cylinders and have a sync. Using only 2 channels on Picoscope. That's what I got that system. And now we can analyze a little better what we have there. I might even extend the time sample more for the next capture. Because as you can see, well, I'm actually in a zoom. I forgot about that. So that's not a problem. Whew. So this is number 4. A lot of detail, as you can see, right? Now that you zoom in, you can see we got coil oscillation, so that coil still got power left over to burn. I don't see no problems on the burn. A little spike at the end, but that is again system design. So we got 2.7 milliseconds from here to here. So let's go into another one. I'm gonna have to maybe zoom back right here. So let's go back, and we can do then this one, right? You know, I just pick up another one. That it will be one. That will be cylinder 2, the one next to it, and we can grab the cursors. Around the same, 3.1. So 2.6, 3.2. I think I can do this from here. Just using that spike. Going to be close to 2.6. So half a millisecond shorter. What is number? I think this is number 6. 2.89. And yeah, this is cylinder number 6. We can zoom in again just to make sure that we are, yeah, we're pretty close, right? I can, if you want exact measurements, so around there, right? 2.9. Let's go over to the other cylinder. 3.2. So we do have differences in here. I can see a little lean condition. Let me see, actually a little rich, but and I can feel this on my nose. Definitely the vehicle is running rich, but this is a tuned vehicle. So as long as the computer is not complaining for rich condition, I cannot take that into any problem because I don't know what they have in there for fuel trims, right? Fuel pressures are staying steady as you can see here. Hopefully, yeah, as you can see there and there. Let me take you a little closer. So fuel pressures are really steady as 1000 psi. I can do a snap throttle, which is also what I want to do, but let me just analyze this a little more. So we're talking about zero point 0.6 milliseconds different. Let's see if that repeats on the next. We can go one less. Let's pick up another complete screen, right? And let's zoom here. Again, cylinder 4 first. I'm gonna go just before the spark. Whew, this is just so stinky. 2.9. Cannot keep this car running that long. It's making me feel dizzy. Now, how you analyze a car like this without exhaust fan in here? This is what I've been trying to tell my boss. He needs to get something in this shop. Otherwise, I'm gonna kill everybody. Carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons. Yeah, this is not as bad in this time. So let me stop this car. 1 second, guys. Oof, it's just too much. Keep the ignition on. Oof, absolutely stinky. Oof, wow. I'm sorry, so much glare. That is just light everywhere. Not sure if that makes it a little better. Probably trying to get you as close as possible without being on my way. We can both analyze this. All right, things that I want to see is, well, we can see how coils are up and down all the way across the board. And I'm talking about, the spark. The spark, oof, this is just so stinky. Let me just zoom in here. Yeah, sometimes you need to go a little closer to actually see the detail because outside look a little more than what we see here. So yeah, number 4 has a higher spark line. I'm talking about obviously that, right? Compared to, let's say, cylinder 6 right here, right? So we are 153,624, right? But looking at the lines, I'm just seeing, really, really rich. Like number two is really rich. You see that line completely going down. Let me take this off. But number one is also rich. They all look rich. Let's take 3 cylinders at a time. But comparing, these are, um, again, let me just go back. I'm trying to get used to the Pico 7. So we're going to pick up 6, 2, and 4. All right, so let me just do a zoom in there, and we're going to compare those. Trying to breathe in here is a little hard. Oh, that was just my trigger. I don't know what I grabbed that. So we have 2.9. That's a combustion time, right? And this is the firing kV. That's the spark line, 2.9. So that is the same. Nothing really different on this capture, and that's what you need to analyze, not just the one might be short, the other one might be long. I need a little more into this vehicle. I don't see anything. The car is not misfiring, so I'm not really analyzing anything for misfires or anything. Again, the full code description was, let me just read that again. Whew. Ignition cylinder 4 combustion period outside tolerance. Hmm. Combustion period outside tolerance. I wonder if we have injector leaking in the cylinders, which that can be, a sign. I mean, with the tune, and that's a problem. Some people don't understand when they put a tuners, what they do is they remove a lot of those fault codes that we technicians can use in order to diagnose a concern. And then they come to us. Sometimes this you need to go back to the tuner because he's the only one who will be able to either remove the tune and then we can see this with the original software, or then we have to uh, use oscilloscopes and all these tools that I can use, but it's just slower. Definitely would be slower. I'm trying to zoom again in here, see something weird. See this time, definitely I can see that 4 was definitely different. 2.2, you see 2.2 milliseconds right here. Again, this is just running in idle. 3.2, so that's 1 millisecond different. So definitely something is happening in cylinder number 4, and the computer is complaining on that because they didn't erase that code on the tune. I don't like the way this looks either on this time. See a lot of turbulence and then like something happening here. It's injector dripping. That's the only thing I can think of. Again, 4. Let me go. Yeah, 4, then 2. See, this is just a normal looking waveform. It is definitely rich. Again, that can be the tune, but nothing is wrong in here. It's just, oscillations, everything looks okay. But this was definitely short. Sorry, this one. One doesn't look too good either, right? See that in here? 2 milliseconds. You see, I pick up that right away too. And this is on cylinder number one. How I know cylinder number one? Look at the sink. The sink is the number one, right? So that's piston number one. And we can see that same glitch right here. It was a dip. Like it went really lean and then boom, dip. Like, I mean, let me rephrase that. Not really lean. Something was weird here. And remember, um, when you're doing analysis on a secondary waveform, most of the times, and that depends on manufacturer, but 50% of this form is outside the cylinder, 50% is inside the cylinder. So do we have a short coil or a wire that is, shorting, but there is no misfired faults, and that will definitely, change the combustion time. Trying to move this is very hard to do it like this. I was trying to do this, moving it by hand. See, we can see that here. Let me go back to some other captures. Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, I can definitely see it again now. Almost 59. So this is another recording, and I can see that here as well. I think this might be good for the video, guys. I'm sorry, but sometimes I'm working. I cannot really do always what I wanted to do, especially when equipment doesn't allow me. But we can see something weird number one as well. This time was 3 milliseconds, so not so bad. That was number four. 2.6, so this time it's not so bad. Sometimes it depends on, where you are as far as the zoom, right? It might lie to your eye, like here, looked like it was weird, but it wasn't. I wish they kept the bar the old Pico 6 had. Like this time now, this has this, but I'm not sure how much am I moving. Like before in Pico 6, you had a bar that you can move back and forth. This is no longer there. So it's just moving the complete screen into three times, which cannot be four because we got one, two, three, four, five, six. So I was not in three times seeing everything, but yeah, it is what it is. I guess I can move it in here. Yeah, I can use that. All right, guys. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to request more time. I want to let me take you guys. I'm probably gonna cut some of this video so it's not that long. But yeah, I don't really see anything wrong on the coils. I definitely see short time sometimes in the secondary form. Nothing to do with the coil. So we might have a problem with the injector or a problem with the spark plug itself. So my next steps will be put a borescope. I'm gonna have to let the engine cool down and then see if we have an injector leaking or something. This is an N55. Yeah, this is an N55. So what is my pressure right now? Oh, this is a good test. I wasn't putting attention. All right, guys, we are actually seeing in here that we have no problems with injectors. Excellent. I forgot we got this. This is not an M54. This is an N55. Look at where the rail pressure started. This is most definitely where I stopped the engine. Right now, with the system of, you can only do this on the N63s and the N55. What you're seeing in here is the pressure is now trapped in the fuel rail. With turn the car off and turn it back on, if you leave the ignition off, it will just bleed down because there's no ignition. But if you turn the ignition back on after running and warming up the engine, the pressure is trapped in the fuel rail. What it's going to do there now with a hot engine is going to boil that fuel and the pressure has to increase. If you see the pressure dropping, then you most definitely have an injector leaking. This is right now telling me that we don't have an injector leaking, at least not now. You can see that with me right here. I'm so glad I left the ignition on. This is perfect. So yeah, you see, pressure is just building and building up. So there's no injector issues in here. So we got no problems with the fuel pump, the high fuel pressure pump, no problems with the injectors. I'm going to request to have spark plugs removed, replace the spark plugs, and retest. This is something I want to see. Like I said, if I might even request to get cables, I might not. I'm going to get the new cables and new spark plugs, and then retest because fuel pressure, injectors is good. And the low side, we had problems on the low side, but that is another diagnostic that I did with him. I put the amp clamp on the fuel tank, and you'll see that I have that removed in here. That's where the fuel pump module is on this vehicle. And usually what I do is just an amp clamp, powers and grounds, communication, and then amp clamp. You can do the bidirectional control with the SUS, and then activate the pump even at 60 liters per second or hour. I think it's 60 liters per hour, and then 120 liters per hour, and then check that waveform. If it's close or over 20 amps, replace the fuel pump and replace the um, the fuel pump module. That needs to be code and program. So for those that doesn't know, all right, guys. Again, let me recommend the repairs that I can see here, and then we go from there. If this will move forward and I do another test, I will probably record a second video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope you guys like all these analysis of like secondary waveforms. And that's what you do. You compare. You don't try to like overanalyze, one to another. You just go scroll through all those 64 screens and see if it's repetitive. And then you can take a decision what you want to do. I'm so glad I connected the scanner and I was able to see that fuel pressure raising because then there's nothing wrong with injectors. 100%. That is 100% bulletproof test. At least this time, no problems. All right, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. I'm trying just to share a little more of repair videos here in the shop. Again, Bavarian Motor Repairs in Maryland. My Salazar. Talk to you next time. Bye bye.